What's your favorite idea? Mine is making this video. If not obvious by that stupid ass intro and my shirt for the day, we're talking about Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. The internet phenomenon turned into a British TV show, turned into now there's a website. Let's just get into it. So, if you have no idea what Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is, it is a false kids TV show that throughout the episodes and the videos turned batshit insane. Using a human heart in arts and crafts, eating your best friend, getting a middle management job. This is about the scope of how crazy this show gets. Now, I was a weird kid online that had unsupervised internet access, so I saw this show way too young, but it is still one of my favorite pieces of media to this day, and I don't think anybody has done what they have done. They've tried, but it failed. So when the TV show came out in Britain, I had to watch it on YouTube, I was super excited. Now, originally, they were going to have a different Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared show, but it ended up not getting past the pilot. And it's sort of lost media. Like, there's clips out there of it, and I'll just, show screenshots right here. But it ended up not working out. I'm not going to include that as part of the lore that I'm talking about. We're not including that. What I'm talking about today is all of the fourth wall breaks and to what level they are. And if for some reason you don't know what the fourth wall is, it's the phenomenon of whenever a character in media brings up the fact that they are a character in media and know that they are. So let's speed run through the original series real quick and their fourth wall breaks just so we know where we're at. So the first one is whenever they turn into their 3D models and we see the behind the scenes of the filming. Then we've got whenever Duck is like, I don't want to do this anymore. Smacks the fuck out the camera and we see the set. And then I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it would be considered fourth wall breaking. I think it is. But whenever Red Guy goes through the door and sees the lower budget version of the show that they're on and his head explodes, pretty sure that's fourth wall breaking, but also be a show within a show because we see during the flashbacks that he doesn't know that this is a show and he's writing about it. So it could be fourth wall within a fourth wall. And then the other one, which is fourth wall and a fourth wall, is whenever Red Guy is on the controls in the last episode and Yellow Guy's dad is like, oh. But that's kind of where we're at for fourth wall breaks in the original DHMIS. So, with the original series, the main theory that everybody's going for is that Ron, Yellow Guy's dad, he's on a bunch of all the advertisements for the flakes and everything. That because of all that, he's the main advertiser and the person that's paying for the show to run. And then Red Guy, because of his backstory, that he's the original show producer. And he brought Ron, Yellow Guy's dad, on to pay for it. Yellow Guy, since he's a son, is being there as a punishment for Ron to set him straight and control him, because there was an interview about it that Ron was interviewed and he was like, my child is disobedient. He must learn. And Yellow Guy's afraid of horses, but in the dream episode he's on a horse, stuff like that. And then Duck is just an actor. He's just here to make a check. That's why his fourth wall break is saying, I don't want to do this anymore because he's just an actor. So they know this is the show, the original. But now we're going to flip over to the series. Do I think that the original DHMIS and the show are connected and in the same universe? Yes and no. I'm going to explain both sides. You guys comment down below, let me know which one you believe. So the reason why a lot of people are saying yes is because of the callbacks to the original series and how it seems like the dynamics are pretty much the same. We see Ron again in the family episode whenever Yellow Guy's being tortured and he's like, my dad's here. And then the dad just goes and fucks up that random Swedish family. Are they Swedish? Am I just making an assumption because they're blonde? Don't read into that. So people are saying that maybe the family went off script, so Ron, the guy, was like, that's my son, only I'm the one that's able to mistreat him. And it still kind of repeats the whole Red Guy knows it's a show thing with the episode where they're with the train and he's like trying to get out of there and be like, I don't like any of this. And they go through the car and they end up in like some random wasteland, have no idea where they are. So it seems like it's like the same level and the same universe because it's got like those callbacks and everything to the original series. I personally think that the way that it would make sense is that since Ron seems like he's on Yellow Guy's side this time, it seems like Ron is no longer the guy pulling the strings anymore, because if it was, then the family would not have gone out of control like that, you know? And I don't think we saw that many like calls to the advertisements of what Ron owned compared to the original series. And now, since the series got so successful, Ron and Red Guy actually sold it. The woman in the staircase, like the main creator lady that's got the little mini house and the piano, they sold it to her, and now she's the one that's taking control of everything. Or if we're talking about fourth wall within a fourth wall, could be that Red Guy and Ron are still the creators, but the piano lady, she's the one controlling them. And even then, there's another staircase, so who's controlling her? I would assume that it's either the TV producers in real life or the original two creators of the show. With all of that going for the original series and the TV series being connected, let's see on the flip side, them not being connected. And again for this, I'm bringing up the fact that Ron and Yellow Guy seem to be on the same side this time. Since we didn't see anything on screen of them making up, it wouldn't really make any sense for me. The other reason why I don't think this makes much sense is because whenever Red Guy goes out into the real world, it's all like grass, telephone booth, seems just like the normal world. In the flashback, it wasn't even like a real normal world, it was just like a bunch of other red guys, but it wasn't everything being made out of felt. Meanwhile, in the series, whenever they go into the real world, it's decrepit, everything's fucked up, seems like they're in a junkyard, probably. Just looks nothing like the real world in the original series. One that I forgot to mention earlier was with the computer episode where he's like, what? No, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. Stop talking. That's not what the episode's about. Meanwhile, as we see in the job episode, he's a lot more like inclined to do everything, and he even falls into it and ends up being like the main manager guy. I don't think that the original series guy would ever be willing to do that. And we also see in the original series, whenever Duck gets eaten, he then doesn't show up again. Like, he's dead. He's gone. Yet in this new TV series, whenever Duck dies, and there's a whole episode about it, he just gets replaced by another one. So I feel like this is a lot more grounded in them just being characters rather than in the original series where they were just actors. And I also think that the whole stairs lady being the creator of the show, but she's being created by the actual creators of the show or like the TV producers, still makes sense in this one, because instead of seeing like the behind the scenes whenever you go up the stairs, it's like different versions, and for some reason Yellow Guy isn't a part of it. And one of the main theories is that Yellow Guy is supposed to be representative of the piano stairs lady's like dead son, because I'm pretty sure in the death episode there's a gravestone with the boy's name on it, so people think that that's Yellow Guy's actual name. And that wouldn't make sense if it's connected to the original story, because the original story is Red Guy and Ron team up, they make a show, Ron takes over with advertisements, Red Guy wants to pull the plug, and he literally does. Well, in this one, if the theory about the stairs lady's dead son is correct, then what's Ron? Is that supposed to be like her crazy Jerry Springer level ex-husband? That's awful. Like, if these are all supposed to be representative of like people that have died in her life, would it be like something really fucked up where it's like Ron did like a murder-suicide with the Yellow Guy in real life? Then who the fuck are like Duck and Red Guy, you know? Would just not be connected at all, in my personal opinion. If you disagree, let me know again in the comments. Yell at me, it'll be funny. And you may be wondering, you're talking about all this, the fuck does this have to do with the fourth wall? And I'll tell you, Give me a second. So again, like I said in the original series, this kind of seems like it's fourth wall within a fourth wall within a fourth wall. So what the characters believe is the creators is actually the creators making the creator. Let me explain. So for like the kind of pyramid of the levels, I'll explain the original series and then what we're thinking for the new series. So DHMIS, the show, Red Guy and Ron are the creators of that show, and then the original creators created Red Guy and Ron. Okay. Meanwhile, in the new TV show, we've got 2 different fourth walls. Possibly. Maybe even more. Who knows? So, if this is connected to the original series, it would be the show, Red Guy and Ron, the staircase lady, then the original 2 creators, and then the TV producers. I think the TV producers would be over the original creators because if the TV producers don't like it, then it's not airing, kind of thing, you know what I mean? But if it's not connected to the original series, then it would be the show, staircase lady, creators, TV producers. Kind of just depends which theory you believe in. For explaining it this way, then the only real fourth wall break that could have possibly been in the TV show would have been whenever they went to the real world. But even then, that doesn't look like our real world, so that wouldn't be a true fourth wall to the audience. That would just be to the layer of the staircase lady, possibly. Or it might not even be a fourth wall break at all, that it's just a part of the set, like Truman Show style, that was never created, so it's just a bunch of scraps that they didn't use. And in the Yellow Guy is staircase lady's dead son theory, then it would not be a fourth wall break for him to go up there because that would just be parts of the house and like parts of the layers of the reality. Because rather than her being a creator just to create them and create a story, she would be emotionally involved, so without her it wouldn't exist. And she is actively a part of the story for that to happen. So this would just be more like, instead of going into the fourth wall, it would be more like going into subtext, or like going a layer deeper rather than going to the fourth wall. I'm doing a lot of motion with my hands. I hope it makes sense. The reason why I think it's not a true fourth wall break is because we see on the stairs the painting of him going up the stairs. So it was written for this to happen, for him to go up there. So it's not him diverting from the story at all. This was meant to happen for him to talk to her, you know? So if he's supposed to gain enlightenment and he's supposed to learn these things, how could it be a fourth wall break? But also, in other series, in games and everything, it's still scripted by the creators to do a fourth wall break. So would it be the creators talking through the character, or would it, like, it's very confusing, it's very convoluted. So would this technically be a fourth wall break for the character? Yes. Do I think it's a full fourth wall break to us on the outside? No. I feel like the original series was the one that had true fourth wall breaks because, one, it was on YouTube, so it was a lot more easily accessible. You could interact with it more, like going into secret sites, seeing secret videos, and like seeing behind the scenes and everything. And the episode where he goes in and he sees like the cheaper set version, you see like real people, you know? They don't see themselves as characters. They see this as real life and like basically seeing their version of Jesus or God or whatever. So it's not them realizing that it's a show, it's them realizing that somebody is controlling them. Meanwhile, in the original series, it's them being like, I don't want to be a part of this show anymore. And they go out and they still exist for like as real beings, but not as characters. Except for Duck. Duck fucking dies. Their way, when they break the fourth wall, they still don't exist in real life. They're still not like people with birth certificates and social security numbers. What's crazy about it is if it's a fourth wall break that's happening and these two series are connected, it's actually a fifth wall break. Now, what is a fifth wall? The fifth wall is whenever a character or actor in a series directly references them being in another series, show, whatever. Kind of like if in Wicked they referenced Ariana Grande, even though Ariana Grande is literally Glinda. So the reason why I say it could be a fifth wall break is the episode with the electricity, whenever it starts glitching out and showing the old teachers from the original show. This could be a fifth wall break because they were not part of this. I didn't do this with the script. I'm literally just like talking about it because I feel like it. So if they are connected, then it wouldn't be a fifth wall break because they would already like know, or they would already be aware of these characters, like how we see the clock guy being up there on top of the fireplace. But if they're not connected, then it's a fifth wall break to bring these things up because it's technically a reference to another show, even though it's the same characters in the same format, but it's completely different. I'm confusing myself now, but okay, I feel like my head's about to explode with how crazy I'm going, but we can continue this conversation in the comments. You can like, you can subscribe, you can do whatever you feel like. I need answers. Don't hug me, I'm scared. Cool series, and I hope I see you next time. Peace.